Moving into sergeant and also the position squad lead. So squad lead is another. I want to keep saying all these positions are important because they are important. But squad lead is a very important position, especially on the battlefield, today's modern battlefield that we're at least using them in the way that we're categorizing them in real in this unit. Um, so basically, the whole deal with your squad leader is your squad leaders are leading those two-man elements, those two fire team leaders, and obviously all soldiers under those fire teams as well. So your squad leader, which is going to be sometimes I know this unit we've got a couple of corporals, mostly corporals and squad leads. We got a sergeant or two, and most of our staff sergeants, which are in real life staff sergeants, usually squad leader rank. Most of our staff sergeants are PSGs at least. So like I said, I we don't give rank to people unless they actually deserve it and push up to that level. And obviously they've been here for a minute, and we don't completely skip the time and grade, time and service ranking completion. Um, yeah, kind of expanding on the roles of a squad leader off the battlefield. So for at least for us, basically what happens here for squad leaders, at least in the Discord, and then training wise, in Discord, your squad leaders are going to help with platoon leadership and any type of thing that goes on within the platoon. Because obviously, your platoon's leadership is your PL at the top, your PSG right next to the PL, and then your four squad leaders, and that is your basically your platoon leadership right there. So your squad leaders play a crucial role in being the leadership of the platoon. So anytime that y'all want to do something as a platoon, I suggest you include your squad leaders in that decision-making process because, like I said, your squad leaders are important as well. Because if it's just the PSG and the PL talking about stuff, it's just two heads, and if you include all four of your squad leads, then that's six heads total, and six heads is better than two. Obviously, at the end of the day, PL and PSG are in charge, um, but still, it's good to include your squad leaders in that decision-making progress, especially if you're going to do anything platoon-wise, uh, just to kind of keep them in the loop as well as get their mindset on stuff. Because, like I said, they're the guys that are actually in charge of those squads and kind of represent their squads as a whole. So that's why it's good to bring those guys in. Yeah, Discord wise, they also look over their team leaders. They help select their team leaders. So if you do not have a team leader or team leaders in that squad, and you want to talk to that squad leader, like, hey, I got your squad leader and everything. Are the people in your team or yeah, in your squad that you recognize that could be good team leaders and so on and so forth. And that's why you kind of want to talk to your squad leaders because they know about their squads more than you know about their squads, or at least I'd hope so. Because that's even though they do work with everyone in the platoon, they should still know at least the people in their squad from their own squad chats, since that's the people that if your squad leaders do actively talk in their squad chats that they should be talking to almost every day, or at least every day that they are active and online. So your squad leaders are going to have a stronger bond with their squads than you will have with their squads, obviously. So it's like I said, it's good to get their mindset and talk to them because, like they said, they know their soldiers more than you know their soldiers. Like I said, or at least I hope your squad leaders would. Training wise, squad leaders should be conducting their own training, but not at their squad level. That's one thing I kind of noticed about Novik, that you kind of corrected him on perk earlier was he was just trying to host a squad level training, which is the wrong answer, especially with the way that the unit works here. I know we have 100 something people per platoon, but we're not going to have 100 something people showing up to a platoon level training. Squad leaders, just because they're a squad leader in charge of a squad, doesn't mean they're limited to just training their squad. They're still in a leadership position within your platoon, so they can host a training for the entire platoon. Hell, they can if they wanted to, they could host a training for the entire company if they wanted to. Because like I said, they're in that leadership position as a sergeant, a corporal, staff sergeant, whatever. So they have the rank and the authority to do what needs to be done at whatever level, as long as the authority is there and like the reasoning behind the training is there. We'll we'll definitely have them do that training. Yeah, that squad lead, or at least the way we use squad leads in our unit, rank wise, is they're usually going to be corporals or sergeants. Um, Basically, they'll get that corporal rank, and that's their first taste of NCO and their first little taste of authority. Don't get me wrong, corporal's not like a huge crazy rank to have, but it's a step up from being a private or a specialist or something like that. So like I said, it's that first step into the role of an NCO, and then obviously making sergeant is a next step into the role of becoming a more senior NCO. All on the battlefield, squad leaders. I kind of went over this a little bit, kind of straight off the path whenever I was talking about team leaders. So sorry about that, but moving more into uh, of the squad leaders. Basically, in the battlefield, some of the stuff that from real life kind of translate. So like the squad leaders on the battlefield. So that one thing that I was telling you about team leaders, double checking their guys for those pre-combat checks and those pre-combat inspections. Um, your squad leader is just going to double check and make sure his team leaders, if he does have those team leaders at his disposal, he's making sure those guys are doing their jobs, and he's also assisting the PL and PSG with that platoon's decisive operations. Because like I said, PLs and PSGs are going to start briefing their own opwards, so the squad leaders are basically assisting them during that decision-making process before they actually initiate the operation, because each squad leader knows what their guys are capable of, and knows what they can accomplish. Even if it's their first time playing, they can probably get a pretty decent feeling within about a 5 to 10 minute span of just talking to them. Be like, hey, for some of you that are new here, I'm your squad leader. I'm fucking Corporal Fox off. I'm your squad leader. Blah blah blah. And like after talking to someone for 5 to 10 minutes, you can probably get a pretty decent rundown if they're a doofus or if they know what the fuck they're doing. So your squad leaders are going to have the that ability to know what their squad is going to be capable of and not capable of. For instance, if Perk was like telling Fox, he's like, "Hey, I need you and your guys to walk all the way from airport all the way south to Saint Pierre," and Fox off of being, I don't think my guys got the ability to do that. So just stuff like that. Your squad leaders are going to know what their squads are capable of. So make sure that you include your squad leaders in that decision making process of making a planning and stuff operations like that. So that way they're not left out to fucking dry. They know what's happening from the beginning to the end. Um, Actually, like in combat, like after the planning phase, pushing, your squad leads are going to be in charge of those two fire team elements. So it's important basically to make sure they're more senior guys. You want to make sure your squad leader has spent time as a team leader. That's preferable. I know the way that things work here, especially in Second Ranger Battalion, with the way how big we're getting every single day. Dudes are forced to move from team leader position straight to squad leader. Or people are forced from like not even being a team leader just straight into a squad leader position. So, it's I'd prefer if we could do it like they spend a little bit of time as a team leader, get that first taste at at leadership, and then push up to squad leader. But like I said, that'd be in a perfect world, which we're obviously not, and we have to deal with different complications every single day, obviously in the game. But your squad leads are going to be charged of that two man, or not the two man, but that those two elements, the alpha team and that bravo team. Usually, what wants to happen, especially whenever maneuvering, the squad leader wants to place himself in the middle of his elements. So if he has an alpha team and a bravo team, that squad leader should place himself in the middle of that alpha team and bravo team. So if possible, like obviously we have radios and stuff and squad nets, but if possible, he can be within walking distance or running distance to each of those elements if need be, or if he needs to send his other team to reinforce the other team because they get wiped out or they're getting initiated fire with and so on and so forth. So like I said, being a squad leader and being in that position with your guys is very important, especially on the battlefield. Um, yeah, the first squad leader is also you're going to be your first rank, not first rank, but first position where you're going to start noticing how important it is to be on the radio. I don't, whenever I was a PL back a couple weeks ago, we ran shit at platoon level. I don't remember who my squad leaders were, but I can remember how much I bugged them on the radio for situation updates. And I guess it's kind of the same for myself as company commander now and bugging the PLs and PSGs for situation updates. Your squad leaders are going to be your first role where they're gonna have to be on the radio a lot more than what they thought, especially with people that they aren't super close with and can't see exactly what's on the battlefield. Like don't get me like I said, don't get me wrong, PL, PSG are still gonna be somewhat in the battlefield, but they might not be on the same street or same block. So sometimes squad leaders you have to paint a picture for your PLs and PSGs. So just remember that you will be talking a lot more on the radio than you might be used to. So just if you want to be in that position as squad leader, just remember that it is important that you will have to be decent on the radio. Obviously, if you aren't, there's always time to practice, do trainings and stuff, and just get used to talking on the radio. I know know fucking Perk can like tell you how much I talk on the radio and talk to my PLs and PSGs, but you're gonna have to be talking on the radio a lot. Yeah. So whenever I say that, don't exactly take yourself out of the fight. But if you need to pull over somewhere and like get inside a building, get inside a room, and tell one of your guys to pull security on you real quick, while you pull a grid or something like that, just do that and then get yourself back in the fight. Because as the squad lead, you're still gonna be in the fight. Like I said, but your job just gets increasingly harder because you are gonna be communicating a lot with your PSG and your PL. Okay. Any other questions about the role of a squad leader?
Fucking, so I would assign 2 fire teams for my squad, pretty much. Or,
Two
so for
fire
example,
team two fire team leaders.
fire team leaders, okay, for one squad, correct?
Yes. And those
Okay,
fire team leaders basically assist you in running your squad.
okay.
Any more questions about being a squad leader? Or you got any questions?
Negative.
So, also just expanding a little bit on the usual rank of the squad lead. Like I said, we usually got corporals and then sometimes sergeants being our squad leads. One thing that we're going to start doing here as well in the platoons is we're going to open up a weapon squad. So
Yes, that's what I
we'll
wanted.
have first, second, third, and fourth squad in our platoons, and then we'll open up a fifth squad, which will be called weapons squad. And those squads are going to usually have your senior squad leader. So whoever the squad leader in your platoon is most senior, highest ranking, or just been there the longest is going to be pushed to that fifth squad as your weapons squad leader. And that's basically another echelon of command. Basically, if the PL and PSG go down, that weapon squad leader is the senior squad leader, and he takes charge basically if the PL and PSG go down. And also, as well, he's in charge of the weapon squad. So usually in a infantry platoon, you're going to have something called a weapon squad. Can anybody here guess what a weapon squad does? Just by the name.
249 bears, heavy weapons.
Nope.
No.
Heavy weapons. What you're kind of getting at is so 249s are always or per army doctrine 249s are carried at the actual like infantry squad level. You're not supposed to carry M60s or M240s at that regular line squad level because they're way too heavy and you're not going to be maneuverable enough on a street or something like that, like clearing buildings with it. So your weapon squad is usually going to be your guys that are tasked with anti-tank or the heavy machine guns with the M60s because the way that it should work, especially with M60s, it and I kind of want to start doing this maybe possibly in the future, is these weapon squads in your squad are basically going to have like an M60 and they're also going to have an assistant gunner. And basically, what's going to happen is a gun team is going to be 2 guys. It's going to be a guy with the M60 and he's going to be carrying a couple drums of F762 for the M60, and as well he's going to have an assistant gunner, which is going to be basically kind of like a spotter. So for like snipers, they have spotters IDing targets. This assistant gunner is going to ID targets for that machine gunner. So as you can figure, fucking that M60 guy, he's going to be kind of tunnel visioned on like a couple targets. So the job of that assistant gunner to basically help ID targets and relay any comms if need be, because that assistant gunner is basically the team leader of that little 2-man team. So it's like his job to relay communications because that assistant gunner is probably going to be on the squad net, and he's going to be basically relaying stuff to his gunner, like targets, telling him to shift and lift fire, and so on and so forth, stuff like that, as well as also carrying more ammo because in the firefight, I don't know if y'all noticed, we like to dish out a lot of fucking ammo within the first 5 minutes to initiate to gain fire superiority. So that assistant gunner being there, able to carry extra ammo is always useful. So make sure you guys use that stuff to your advantage, especially once we start including weapon squads.
So would the weapons squad be like a squad all the, or would they be squad?
What's up?
I'm saying, would the weapons squad just be a completely different squad from the squads we have now?
Yes.
Okay.
So like I said, we'd additionally tack on a fifth squad to your platoons, and they're not going to be as big. It's going to be a select group that are people that are active. Like usually we put people into your platoons just willy nilly as they would come in as recruits, and you just get them and they go to a random squad. We'll do that for all your squads except weapon squad. Weapon squad is going to be a very selective group within your platoons that only, like I said, usually in real life your higher speed guys will go into your weapon squad because, like I said, it's gonna be a lot to ask of them to be the support by fires and anti-tank, because that is a very, very important job in your platoons, because you got to imagine how many times we need support by fires. Oh, what's up, Punisher?
Do we have?
We're going over a little bit of NCO training. Currently, I'm trying to teach these guys about a weapon squad and the usefulness of a weapon squad in an infantry platoon. You there?
Yeah. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
I heard you.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, gentlemen. So, like I said, within your platoons, once we actually do open up these weapon squads, just make sure you're, like I said, it's a very select group within your own platoons that you need to be selective of putting people in here, or putting people in as those weapon squad leaders, the AGs, and the gunners itself. Obviously, I'm still going to give it a couple days because there's still a lot of organization we need to go through in our platoons. Whether it's like people that aren't in squad lead positions, like if you have empty squad lead positions that we need to fill first, team lead positions as well as just organization's sake of organizing our platoons and stuff we need to work on before we can actually open up these weapon squads in these platoons, and then actually do a training as well. Most likely, we're gonna host a training at the company level. It's gonna be either myself or one of our other PLs and shit hosting. Most likely myself sometime this week. We're gonna host a class on machine gun theory, and basically all those guys in your platoons that are interested in becoming like a part of those weapon squads, either becoming the weapon squad leader, the weasel, the assistant gunner, or a gunner. We'll have to go through that training to get verified, because there's a lot of different things to know about fucking around with the MGs, the M60s, or M240 Bravos, what we call them, even though it's a different weapon in this game. We'll get them modded soon, hopefully, for the M240.
Yeah.
But
on the
but
block
anyways, yeah, fucking anyways. As well as also an additional task, like I said, we'll be tasking on with the weapon squads is anti-tank. So don't get me wrong, squads are gonna have dudes with fucking car Gs on them as well. But if at all possible, what I'd like to do is in the weapon squads, I'd like to have a designated anti-tank team, like a team of two guys that make sure they carry call Gs into the combat and take out any tank targets that we need to at that platoon level. So that's one thing I want to attach on to the weapon squad, as well as two to three other roles in your weapon squad that's going to be important as well. Is going to be your platoon medic, your platoon RTO, and then your platoon FO or JFO. We're gonna start having those guys come down from the chats that they're in, and they're gonna be attached to your platoon's weapon squads, and that's basically where they'll report in from is that weapon squad, because it's kind of your weapon squad is like your headquarters squad. Your more headquarter guys for your platoon are going to be in that weapon squad as well. Besides that, do you guys have any questions on what I was going earlier about the job of a squad leader, or the rank of sergeant, or any questions about the weapon squads as well?
So with the weapon squad, how many anti-tank teams do you want in that squad? Just like one or two, or like?
That's for the time being. We're probably gonna do one anti-tank team, so just two guys in the weapon squads for now. Just because, like I said, it's not gonna be a super big issue, because each squad is probably gonna have 1 to 2, maybe 3 people with fucking Carl G's anyways. But we will have that one team that is just straight direct anti-tank. Obviously, they'll have their M4s or their Mark 2s or their fucking Block 2s, but they'll also carry those Carl G's to be designated as taking out anti-tank, and those guys are gonna also train as well a lot on doing anti-tank. So they're gonna be working a lot with identifying targets at range, so that way they can be accurate with their Carl G. Any more questions?
So
Okay.
yeah, I do. So you're still gonna want the squads to have Carl G's in them, but you're just gonna have a separate team focused on anti-tank.
Yes.
Okay.
And like I
What
said,
about
a lot of this stuff's gonna be Met TC. I'll go over that in a sec. A lot of this stuff's gonna be Met TC, depending upon the mission we're doing. So if we want to attach the anti-tank guys directly to a squad instead of being in a weapon squad, that's going to be completely like down to the mission and how the PLs, PSGs want to do it. But it's just a place to have these guys, and we'll have to like start up a training of how exactly we want to train these guys, so that way they're doing their job correctly. And you said marksman. I mean, I think that's gonna be down to the platoons. I don't think we have really anything planned at the company level, marksman wise. Is we're just gonna leave that up to the platoon leadership to designate marksmen per their platoon and per squads.
I have a kind
That
of a
works.
conundrum about that. Well, not a conundrum, but a concern. I see
What's up?
I see a lot of guys running a Barrett in as a marksman. I know Poison, he self-designated himself as a marksman. Do you want them running a Barrett, or do you want them running, say, the Block 2 with the long range scope, with the Barrett scope,
Or even the
marksman?
M14.
or the M14? Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
like I said,
everyone and
the
their
marksman
mother's
shit.
picking up a Barrett.
The marksman is completely up to platoon leadership and how they want to do it.
Okay.
I think
I
that should
feel-
be implemented in the weapons squad whenever we do that. You know.
I feel personally they should, if they're a marksman, they should not like everyone should have a Barrett, but maybe like one or two.
Well, it's been
Because-
recently in the past couple of ops. It's like every squad, and even in my squad, I've seen it in every fucking squad. There's at least like 6 dudes carrying an M4 and a fucking Barrett, and I think that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Too.
Obvious
I'm
fuck.
just making a suggestion here. It should be for the weapons squad whenever it does get implemented. You know, so that way not
Because-
everybody and their fucking mom has a Barrett.
Or
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's
sniper
what I'm saying.
teams.
Yeah, we can talk about that more as we actually do working towards making these operations more legitimized, because everything every day changes. So we can actually, depending upon like what kind of operation it is, we can have those guys may not or do run Barretts depending upon the positions they are in. But any more questions about the position of squad leader or position of weapon squad leader or the rank of sergeant?
Negative.
Dope.
Am
What's up?
I supposed to help out with the admin work and stuff too for the PLs and PSGs? Like use some of the loadout or?
If there's anything that you can do and your PLs and PSGs want you to, then yeah, but it doesn't mean you don't have to offer. You can offer your PLs and PSGs like, hey, do you need any help admin wise? Is there anything that I can do? And obviously it's up to your PLs and PSGs if they got anything that they need help with.
Heard.
Sometimes
Okay.
sometimes PLs are stuck up and just like to do all the work anyway, so depends upon your PL.
My PL dishes that shit out like it's candy.
Yeah.